Right, so that's the first one there, this priority of induction over deduction. Secondly, they tell us the probability character of evidentialist arguments. Now, clearly, evidentialist apologetics of all stripes hold to this second crucial aspect. The conclusions of the apologetic arguments they employ are shown to be probable rather than certain. And of course, this follows from the inductive nature of the arguments typically employed. So inductive reasoning assembles facts and argues, they tell us, that a particular conclusion offers the best or most probable explanation of the facts. And so that's another general characteristic of the evidentialist arguments.
Right.
The probability of the conclusions.
Right. So this might bristle some because we're not talking about certainty, or we're not saying here that that for certain God exists, but they're doing it based on the outcome of this induction of talking about, well, it's probably true, even to the point of being almost absolutely certain. Well, this lack of certainty is one of the most commonly criticized aspects of the evidentialist approach. Evidentialists respond to this complaint on two different levels. On one level, they insist that the lack of rational certainty is dictated by the nature of the Christian message. So for Montgomery, the probabilistic character of apologetic argument is an unavoidable result of the fact that the Christian faith centers on a historical event. So even witnessing it or attributing it a miracle to things like the resurrection or the feeding of the 5,000, you're still not a guaranteed certainty here, according to Montgomery. And when we're talking about historical events, we're talking about things that most likely happened because of the nature of historical events in general. Well, while he admits that his evidential apologetics leads only to a high level of probability, he points out that we never have absolute rational certainty in our knowledge of the real world in general, even. So to have a desire for evidential apologetics to produce absolute certainty, he says, well, you don't even have that type of certainty about pretty much anything. So, why are you requesting a standard here when you don't have it in just interacting in your daily world?
Right. And so now he does say that certainty is possible, but it's only possible in deductive arguments that proceed from self-evident axioms. And so no argument that appeals to facts from the real world can furnish mathematical certain conclusions, right? And so while empirical proofs fall short of certainty, all factual decisions in life, notice, are based on such proofs. All of our knowledge about the real world and our decisions with regard to the real world are based on, inductive probability type of proofs, right? Historians, he says, and indeed all of us must make decisions constantly. And the only adequate guide is probability, since absolute certainty lies only in the realm of pure logic and mathematics, where by definition one encounters no matters of fact at all. And so probabilistic arguments for the truth of Christianity cannot be summarily dismissed just because a vital religious question is at issue, right? Because what he's suggesting here is this is the way we make our decisions about life in general, especially about things that have to do with the world. So outside of logic, pure logic and mathematics, induction and probability is the way we live. And so we shouldn't criticize then a religious question because it's based on induction and probability. That's what he's getting at.
Right. Hume points this out as well. He talks about the problem of induction as well. And so even scientists are forced to live with probability sometimes. Well, on another level, though, evidentialism affirms that a kind of certainty actually is possible. Evidentialists do not claim that most or best we can say is that God probably exists or that Jesus most likely rose from the dead. For them, apologetic arguments are designed to show that their conclusions are at least probably true. That they are certainly true can also be known, according to evidentialists, but not by argument. such certainty is a characteristic of faith and is made possible by the work of the Holy Spirit. And again, we're not talking about blind faith here. We're talking about a trust in and then an outpouring of the Holy Spirit giving you that certainty. So here, faith comes by God to the believer, and it's through that means that certainty is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we have this idea then that there is certainty, but it is with regard to the Holy Spirit, right? So they don't eliminate certainty, but it's not based on the facts. It's based on what God does in us.
All right. That's also what, William Lane Craig famously argues as well. So he talks about knowing and showing. And so you can show that it's highly likely that Christ rose from the dead. He uses evidential apologetics there, but he can also talk about Kalam and the possibility of a creator being the first mover. But as far as knowing that Jesus rose from the dead, that certainty comes through only the Holy Spirit.
Right.